bring back artifacts are destroyed.
Yeah, but it's also saying your ambition can bury you. Sometimes you're looking when you're digging for things. Whatever you've done before, you're basically sometimes you have nothing to bear out.
But we already know that Cornelius or Zaius is hiding something, right?
We have that feeling.
We have that sense. Well, we have that sense that Zaius is afraid of something, right?
He knows something.
We're now moving to the point where Zaius is afraid. He's denying something doesn't exist. These humans, these things like that, and now he's warning an archaeologist,
another person, to stop digging for something and stop looking for whatever will destroy or bring dislight into.
So, Sean, do you know some of the strong visuals at the end of the movie? Do you know some of those things?
Well, no, I know the pop culture beats. I know "Get your damn hands off," "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty apes," and I know that it's Earth at the end, and it's the Statue of Liberty on a beach. I don't know anything else.
How and why you get there.
Yeah, I don't know what the in between of that is. Now, as I'm watching it and having seen the reboots of it, Bright Eyes is making sense to me. I didn't know Bright Eyes was Taylor's name.
So to be fair, and I know this because we recently went to a triple feature of all the new ones.
Yeah, we watched all the new ones.
I haven't seen them.
Which, to digress, don't ever, when it's the brand new one and you want to see it, don't go to a triple feature where they show you the brand new one at about, 11?
Oh, yeah.
By the time they showed the new one, I was so worn out. I was so sleepy. Like I love these films. I did not enjoy the new one. I liked it, but I didn't enjoy it because it was so damn late.
Back to back.
It's also, the new one is very sad, too.
It is very sad, but you bring up a good point. They do a great job of
referencing it.
Referencing
it's a madhouse and all that.
Yeah, and they do all those kind of things.
And hosing people down.
Yeah, there are a lot of callbacks. And, and when we talk about all the relaunches of films that go on nowadays and how they try to reiterate, where they really try to touch on what made it iconic and why we want to do it again, I do think these new films understood it.
Yeah.
They knew how to evoke those thoughts, but to tell a new story.
But not to just copy it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. You wouldn't know Bright Eyes, and eventually, well, to tell you the truth, honestly, the name of our space
I understand. And you know
she's in there.
I know Nova, but the way they did it in the new movie, just being Chevy Nova.
Right.
But I don't know how Nova is named in this movie, but the fact that they gave it just a interesting, it's like.
Trust me, it's probably with Charlton going, "Hey, Nova."
So
about it.
Cornelius basically says, when you're digging for artifacts, don't bury your reputation. So what I would really like to know, just in time capsule, I would love to go back when this movie came out, and if they ran with the closing shot as the tease to get people to see it, or if that was,
if they spoiled the ending,
or if it was a surprise. And I would love to know if you're watching this movie, not knowing that teaser at the end, what you think is happening, because these moments with Cornelius and Zaius, having known those pop culture moments and having now watched the film in its entirety and seeing these things are all tip off to what's happening. But if you're an audience unknowing, what would you think is happening?
How shocking was it to you?
Right, exactly. A friendly warning, Cornelius: when you're digging for your artifacts, don't bury your reputation. And I'm immediately going, oh, wait a minute. I know about the Statue of Liberty. You're digging for artifacts. He's an archaeologist. She's a sociobiologist.
And we're juxtaposing on the knowledge of history to that. They didn't have it. And therefore, how many people go to the movies and it's simply the waxy stare as I'm looking at apes talking to apes, and it's something, oh, look at him, he said that. They don't think it. I don't know that it has any context. I don't know that it has any meaning to the person watching it at the time who doesn't know what they're trying to say to you.
We might have to do some research for the next couple of minutes of going back and looking at trailers and see what the trailers show.
That's a great idea.
Looking at trailers and seeing what the news articles are. What do the reviewers say?
I can almost guarantee you.
Did they avoid the spoiler at the end?
I would almost guarantee. Now, they might. I can imagine that shot as he and Nova on the horse come at it and it's over the shoulder of the Statue of Liberty. You might get away with that in a teaser, but you would do the payoff shot.
I can tell you this.
It was built up like a payoff shot, like the audience did not know.
Yeah, and that shot is the shot that I'm mentioning is so beautifully staged that all you see are a couple spheres of the torch, and you couldn't tell what it was.
Right.
If you don't know what it is, you don't know.
Yeah, I can tell you this. I went and saw Kingsman: The Golden Circle this weekend. I'm not telling you what the shot is, and it's not a spoiler.
La 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 la.
But there is a shot in the trailers that they show for the Kingsman
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the last shots of the movie.
Oh, really?
Now, if you don't know it's the last shot in the movie, it's not a spoiler. Once you know it's one of the last shots in the movie, you go, why did they show that in the last shot of the movie?
Which,
or the last shot of the trailer.
You want to talk about an interesting podcast that could happen.
Look
at trailers after big movies come out, because I've gotten to the point.
They give away?
So I can't watch them anymore. They reveal so much.
They do. They ruin the beats of it. I start looking for the jokes. It's the same as I heard Last Jedi is about to have another trailer the 1st of October, and I'm not watching.
I've got some friends and customers that come in that are addicted to every single news spoiler that comes out there. And for me, Star Wars is going to get my money.
Yeah,
they don't need to show me anything else.
You're going to watch it.
They don't show me anymore. I'm like, I don't want to see anymore. I don't know about new figures. I don't care.
I'm to the point that I watched all the prequels how many times because I love that universe so much. So the shittiest of shitty that they could make, I watched.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to get me into the theater. I'm going to follow.
You're going to be there anyway. So they're going to get your money. Don't tell me how the movie ends.
I'm very intrigued by trailers like the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, where they actually shot a trailer that belonged in and of itself.
It's no film from the movie.
Right.
It's just a unique trailer
that evokes what the feeling of the film will be.
Where they used the two towers before they fell down.
You don't like that?
But I fully admit that I'm kind of annoyed by comedy movies that put in bits that aren't actually in the movie. I think if you're going to do a gag in a comedy movie, it needs to be in the movie.
Okay, I'm totally
going off. I'm going off subject. I know.
No, that's fine. It's our podcast. We can go off subject.
Going back to the Kingsman, they did a trailer a Red Band trailer where they had a scene versus a Green Band trailer where Channing Tatum, Taron Egerton, I can't remember his name, the actor for the British guy, said, "That's very American to you." And in the Green Band, he goes, "Hell yeah, it is." And the Red Band, he goes, "Fuck yeah, it is." And that's not in the movie at all.
I look at trailers and why aren't they banking in a part of their budget? If I made Planet of the Apes, why am I not making a part of my budget 2 or 3 segments, so 2 minutes each, 6 minutes total of information that could set up the film? Yeah. It could be, if I'm making Batman. If I make Batman and I suddenly make it about...
Wouldn't that be fantastic if your Batman movie, your 2 or 3 trailers were actually the background leading to the movie as opposed to being
People
the movie?
Always talk about films. They don't want another... they don't want... Why can't I think of it? They don't want the story. They don't want the origin story. They don't want that. Why can't the trailers be Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed? Why can't it be he's training? Why can't it do all that and evoke and here it comes?
You want Alfred Hitchcock trailers. That's what he used to do.
He did.
They could have, Planet of the Apes could have had that moment where they revealed why they're on that freaking spaceship in the first place.
Yes.
Give us the motivation for being on the spaceship.
It's 1966 and we're flying people into space because the Earth is in trailer.
And Stewart is taking her procreation pills.
And we have one woman on the plane, the
plane.
The spaceship with us.
And only 3 days of food.
We're gonna find a reason to save the Earth, and then but something happens.
Trailers, to me, there's so many things. I was talking with family today about so much that's ruined the film going experience. And Richard, you and I never had the opportunity. Film to me is, I love music and I love film. Both of them to me are just these things that are sacred to me. I went to a show last night in Deep Ellum with an artist.
Todd's a drummer.
I'm a drummer. I play guitar. I do all this stuff.
I play tuba.
So I went to the show, and there's nothing better than live performance where an artist is engaging with you. There's nothing better than film where the world encloses around me. But when I went to see Dunkirk, which did you see Dunkirk?
No, I can't.
It's fantastic.
It's a 2.5-hour panic attack that you're glad you had.
Yes, and I think it's Nolan's best film, and I think The Dark Knight was a pretty damn solid film. It's his best film to me since Memento.
Memento.
Thank you. As I said, I thought I'd say it right.
You just said Memento.
But the lady next to me talked to her boyfriend the whole time.
Why?
Did you know this is true? Did you know this? Did you know? It ruins the experience. They're ruining the experience with allowing that to occur, and with trailers. Trailers ruin it. And so I worry about when you go back to Planet of the Apes. I think your idea of let's go find the trailers is a very good one.
Yeah.
What did they do? How did they advertise it? Now, in 1968, you're going to be able to advertise the idea of talking apes, and that's going to be enough to get people in the seats.
Impressive. I mean, the makeup's impressive. Let's see
that. They would probably want to promote the fact that they did something groundbreaking at the time.
It's Avatar. Avatar, really, because it was so much of and
Dancing with Wolves.
I know I made a terrible face.
That's okay. We can get into that because I thought it was an excruciating film.
The best 15 minutes if I saw it was a preview of it, of just going and seeing the 3D, and that's great 3D. And you go see the movie, and it's Dances with Wolves.
Yes.
I feel bad for saying this. I don't want to say that movie audiences are dumb or the mass audiences are dumb, but there's a level to which some things have to be dialed in. A friend of mine watched a upcoming movie that's based on a comic book.
Do you know? Can you give us a hint?
I mean, I can tell you what it is, but I don't know that I really want to tell you what it is.
No, you tell us after we turn off the mic.
All right, cool. All right. And so we went to see this movie based on a comic book, and all of these events happen, and you're never told whether they really happened in real life or in somebody's mind.
Okay.
He loved it because he recognized the comic book, and he could accept the fact that he could walk out with this question of whether it really happened or whether it was all in this character's mind.
A little bit of inception.
With all his character's mind. The people he was around with that he was listening to were disappointed because it wasn't given to them. They were very, very upset, and they ended up walking away from the movie not happy.
Right.
I went to go see Daredevil with Ben Affleck. Well, not with Ben Affleck, but the movie Daredevil.
You saw Ben Affleck.
We were together.
You saw Daredevil starring Ben Affleck.
Starring Ben Affleck.
With Ben Affleck. Hey, Ben,
Hey, Benny, come here.
And at the end of the movie, spoiler, Elektra dies. At the end of the movie.
What?
40 years of comic book history ruined right now in this podcast. Elektra dies.
Miller?
Elektra dies. He goes up to his rooftop, right? And there's the necklace.
Yeah.
And it's in Braille. And he rubs his hand across it, right? And says, so what does he say? He says it's in Braille or something like that. He rubs his hand across it. Left for him. We leave the theater, and I hear like two couples, man, is she dead? I wonder if she's dead. No, that was the end of the freaking movie when he walks upstairs. And some people just really need stuff spelled out for them.
Well, I'm going to make an observation to that point, and then I'm going to bring it back to Planet of the Apes. But I think that people, what they want,
way off target.
what I want so bad, if I'm the movie-going populace, is to forget for 2.5 hours.
You're watching a movie.
That it's 105 degrees outside.
Yeah.
That I'm having a hard time paying my electric bill this year to cool off my house. My kids having failing grades.
Amen.
I'm not getting the raise I want.
24 frames a second.
Praise. Yeah. And I want illusion. Therefore, that's why I want Michael Bay to make Transformers 83 and make shit that makes me forget. Now,
can we not have a Transformers 83 though?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never seen Transformers 1. I refuse to see it because I do think Michael Bay is the worst excuse for a filmmaker that's ever existed.
It's a CG mess.
It's a giant CG shit show.
Anytime I need to see it, I just watch Pearl Harbor and I squint real hard and I imagine they're robots and I think it's about the same.
I think it works out exactly.
So
Optimus Prime.
Going back
Batman, shoot at people.
But going back to Planet of the Apes, and we are jumping ahead. When it got to the end, were there people that were confused in 1968? Did they go, wait, is he on Earth?
No.
Or did they get it?
No, they went straight
smart.
forward. Yeah,
it's smart, but it makes sense. And now, were they also educated? Because that is very Rod Serling, and we know from reading all of this.
Oh, that was very Rod Serling, isn't it?
That is his stamp.
That is very much Twilight Zone. That is we took you down this journey. We made you question what's going on.
Right.
We made you question things about yourself.
Right.
About society. And then we brought it back home and we made you.
I mean, we could have a fourth podcast that is a Rod Serling Minute where we can talk about just his life in general. About
very interesting man, which by the way was shorter than me, and therefore I like him.
He was a paratrooper.
He was 5'4".
Oh, really?
That's the reason when he did the Twilight Zone, he was always seated. When he did his stand-up.
And he was a paratrooper. And
very interesting man.
He was a progressive and all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Well, they had to have screenwriters come in and fix the script. So, right?
Well,
he was like the first, and they had people come in later on.
Yeah. But it was a lot of that. It was Charlton Heston coming in and saying, "I want these beats and these beats."
Well, that's just it. We talked about this. We've talked about everything related to race. And we've kind of talked a little bit about sexism so far at this point in the role of women in this movie, and how much outside of Zira, they're largely kind of relegated to objects, right? Yeah. And when I was watching this and I was seeing Charlton Heston's kind of bravado and machismo over these moments, I really wondered how much he influenced those things. When I see the way women are treated in this film outside of Zira, it feels like Charlton has this ego, and I'm reading into it as somebody coming into this